From the T-Rex's bloody mouth, the Jurassic Park incident was just a strike gone wrong. So we haven't really heard your side of things. Well, it's typical, right? If you're female in this society, your voice is drowned out, especially if you're Latina. Do you consider yourself Latina? I'm not entirely sure. I think I'm technically Costa Rican. If I trace back my ancestry, I'm definitely American, as in most of my ancestors were found in this half of the world. It's hard to define myself. I feel like I'm often judged by my looks above everything. I think the DNA from the dinosaur that created me was from Pennsylvania. So what happened on the island? Well, we were all made, right, by scientists, mostly male scientists, might I add. They borrowed the island from the Costa Rican government, and they weren't exactly forthcoming. How do you mean? They'll deny this. Well, InGen doesn't really exist anymore, but whoever is left will deny this. But they told the government that they were building a hotel and zoo. They didn't go into all the genetic testing they were doing. They were more worried about getting wildlife permits and permissions. They just didn't mention where the animals were coming from. Better to beg forgiveness than ask permission, you know. And the government was okay with this? You gotta remember, this was the early 1990s, late 1980s. Costa Rica was mainly known for farming back then. There was some interest in tourism, but the GDP was mainly, exporting coffee, bananas. They needed the money. They wanted the jobs. They wanted the economic boost. And a hotel and a zoo seems harmless enough. Seems family friendly, right? At the time, it was just the kind of thing they would have wanted to get on board with. There was this idea that Latin America was this dangerous place to visit. And I can't really speak for the people who approved the project, but it seemed like a family-friendly hotel would help change that reputation. Exactly, and InGen was just leaking money out of its ears. They hired locals to dig holes and were paying high school graduates the kinds of salaries usually given to professors. They had to hire ferry drivers, rent boats, make all kinds of deals with ports and construction companies. For a while, it seemed like a great agreement. And so what happened? Dennis wasn't the only one with a chip on his shoulder, you know. I was kept by myself, all alone. Other animals were sick. There were no males. The environment was all wrong. The plants were all wrong. Nobody was paying attention to our enrichment. Enrichment? You know, putting things in our habitats to keep us entertained. Puzzle games. I didn't even have cover from the rain. Not even a little cave or hollow log. When it rained, it just constantly hit my head. Honestly, if I had a little cave, I probably never would have broken out. Really? Probably not. I would have eaten the goat and gone back into my dry, cozy spot. The habitats they created for us weren't thought out. There was this huge drop-off in my habitat, as you know, where the car fell down. Don't you think that was stressful for me? Nowhere to take cover and stay warm? Sleeping beside a cliff? I don't think I slept well until the day after I ate that lawyer. Explain the strike. We just decided we weren't going to do it. We weren't going to help put on their little show. We decided we were all going to hide, so the visitors didn't see any dinosaurs. And it worked. We all hid as best as we could. They ended up parked right outside my paddock, though, and I was hungry and mad, so I was the one who broke cover. So why did you break out? It wasn't smart. I'd been shocked by the fence before. I did know to test it by throwing something, like a goat leg, against it, and it just so happened that that night it worked. But the original plan wasn't ever to break out. It was just to hide, to put on a bad show, disappoint the kids. I guess I was a bad leader, in a way, but I'm telling you, if I had a little cave, it never would have happened. I really hate the way rain feels when it hits my head. Do you regret your role in the park incident? I regret not keeping my word and losing my temper, but also looking back, I have sympathy for myself. I know why I did what I did. It's something I think about very often. I can love and accept that young T-Rex and what she was going through. What happened afterwards? OIJ came. They tried to get the island under control. That's when the Costa Rican government finally figured out what InGen was really doing. The what? How do you pronounce that? OIJ. The OIJ are armed police officers in Costa Rica. They take on the most serious cases. I guess like the FBI, except you see them more often. But then for a while we were left alone, until the next park was built. And we all know what happened. So what's next for a lady like you? That was a long time ago. I don't have that much fight in me anymore. I'll let someone else carry the torch. These days, I have a great, cozy cave to rest in. Thank you for listening, and if you're interested in more Jurassic Park fan fiction from different perspectives, I have chapters on my coffee. Rar.